There's a special story, and we'll get to that right now actually, because I can tell it from my perspective, but I'd much rather hear it from another perspective. So, Gerson, take it away. And perhaps I'll add something afterwards.
Hey guys, as you already know, my name is Jason, but my real name is Gerson. First of all, I'll tell you where I came from and how I got here. So, I'm not from Denmark, I'm not from England, but my language is pretty much on top, as I can say. So, I was born in Portugal and I've been there all my life. My mom and dad are from West Africa, Guinea-Bissau and Saint Tomé and Prince, 2 islands in the west side of Africa, one low and one the high note. I was born in Portugal and I've been there almost all my life. My dad died when I was 2 years old, and my mom had to work hard ever since as a single woman, taking care of me. My mom had to go to Denmark and leave me behind with my grandmother for 2 years straight, so I didn't see my mom's face at all. I could only get some calls from month to month. So I endured. It was okay because I had my family, my father's side. I trust him a lot. I even miss him because ever since I haven't seen him, like recently. There have been good times, but also hellish times because, sometimes we could really stand each other, especially my bigger cousin called Paul. So, the year 2011, 10th August, I remember, that was the first time I ever saw my mom in 2 or 3 years. And I got to Denmark for my first time. 3 weeks after, they told me, you have to go to school to learn Danish. And I was like, okay, let's do this. I don't have nothing to do. My English is bad. YouTube was pretty much the only thing that saved me. YouTube completely evolved my language from a beginner to an intermediate. So I went to that school. They gave me 3 years, but already in a year and a half, I was ready to go to a normal school. And that's why I started Husmenscholen in the 6th class all the way up to 9th. Went to 10th class in Gladsaxe, then now I am in Cuba Produktionsskolen. That's the brief explanation of how I got here. I have a big, very huge interest for martial arts because it boosts my confidence and it puts me in this state of mind where you can flow without really thinking about it. Your body moves on its own and you can really, pop some good techniques. In the year when I was 14 years old, 6th class, that's where I met Mike. He's a very good martial artist that I look up to, and pretty much in this time of need, he was my sensei. Because first of all, my family and I was broke, completely broke. I could only afford to go to school and go to a young people's club where you can hang out and stuff. Martial arts and boxing and whatever was not an option for me, so I had to learn it at home. So while I was in school, I had Mike to help me out in the techniques. If I couldn't understand, he would tell me to take it easy. That helped me out a lot as I learned different aspects and different martial arts and their existences. Then what happens after that, I don't see him again. Unfortunately, he stops school. I stop the school as well at 9th class. Now I move on. And at that moment, I'm now joining boxing for a 1-year span in a few months and training and, getting my abilities over there. This period, my English has become better. YouTube is becoming a thing it's far beyond what people know today. Media, the most important thing about media is communication. If it's crucial and it's very fatal. If that is missing, pretty much social media doesn't have any meaning. That's what y'all see today, with different artists that all they say is just totally foolishness. And y'all can sense that, of course. So I was going through YouTube, studying more martial arts. As I found out more, then out of nowhere, I see Zen-Dragon on YouTube. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that Mike is on YouTube making martial arts videos. Let's go, let me see what I can learn. I took 3 weeks to watch as many videos as I could. And the more I watched, the more my intelligence for martial arts went from this to this. It just expanded in seconds. Because his ability to really explain, to go to the depth of the techniques and the theories is very good. It's very good, talent and very, intellectual.
Thank you.
very skilled. So the thing is, the reason why media is so, in my opinion, is so amazing is because people are able to use their minds and their forces to really influence the masses through speaking and through interpreting, understanding and explaining things correctly. And so the more I watch his videos, the more I was searching for. I watched his sparring. I did that myself, shadowboxing at home. Hands up, head low, punches, dodge. I did all that stuff until I was like, okay, let's talk to him. Let's see what he does. So I wrote him an email and said, that's me, A few days later, he answered back. And, we met at a library. Actually, I think it was
Christmas, actually.
Exactly, and we just talked it out. And, I think we're planning on training sometime and stuff. Exactly. So, already from there, things just escalated quickly. So, I'm here to tell that, I've went through hell. I've seen it myself. And I know that I'm not the only one who has seen it. People on social media, they went through the same thing. And people got something to prove when it comes to social media, Instagram, you name it, whatever. That's why I say, of course, social media has downsides, of course, because nobody is there to listen to what you have to give, People have pain, people have scars. No matter where they come from, they will always have something they went through that they want to share because they don't want other people to suffer the same fate. But because nowadays, young people and old people alike have become so dull and so deaf that the message comes in and goes the next year. So that's why social media is very important when it comes to the ones who bear it in good hands. And that's me.
Beautiful. And I just want to add just briefly to the story because when he sent me that email, he was writing it and suddenly it appeared on my phone, and I remember the exact moment because I was in the supermarket picking up groceries. And I just saw the email, and I've been emailed a few times from followers and stuff, but I don't know how they're finding my email actually. I can ask you later. But this time I just had the sense, just reading the title, that it might have been this guy. And because there's some people who know me in the audience, and there's at least 2 people or something who I've spoken to with about my experiences as a teacher apprentice meeting this guy at Husum School, where I wish I could have helped him more because I had a passion for martial arts and he definitely had one. And at this point, he speaks fluently English, but also fluently Danish. But at the time, his language skills wasn't on the same level. But we could connect just by speaking about YouTube videos and martial arts. And so it also creates that kind of connection. And also, it was a platform for him to find out more about this subject, so important to him, even though he couldn't afford any martial arts classes. And so I tried to get in contact with Idrætsprojektet, which is a project doing great work, offering free trainings and stuff, but it never worked out. And I even tried to reach out to his school teacher, like a few years later, and eventually I just gave up. I just figured, okay, even though it felt like at the time, like I was in that place to try and help this guy, I just figured, okay, it's not gonna happen. And then this email pops up, and it's all because I chose to share something online on YouTube. And I wasn't thinking about this guy when I came up with the idea of Zen-Dragon, but you never know who you're gonna reach or what kind of situation. And that's also why it's important, not just as a creator, but also just like any one of us using social media. I know there's one person who isn't on Facebook, at least in the audience, but pretty much all of us use social media, and you never know who's going to receive the kind of things you're writing or posting or sharing, or what kind of influence it will have. So I think all of us, like, if you have a passion or an idea or something to explore and try and create something, then more power to you. And if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But whether you're just using it just more as a consumer of content, like we all are, then keep that in mind, that what you're doing can actually have an impact, both positive and negative.